Hello and a warm welcome to Federal special program Capital Beat. RSS chief Mohan Bhagwat has taken a cryptic jibe at Prime Minister Narendra Modi, and what he has said is very interesting. Now, he was speaking at a function in Pune, and he says that no one, and I'm going to quote him now, no one should declare himself to be God. Whether we will become God or not, people will decide. We should not proclaim that we have become God. Now, just taking the viewers back to what the context is, during the Lok Sabha elections, Prime Minister Modi had given an interview to News 18 in which he said that still the time my mother was alive, I thought I was a biological son. But when she was no more, then I thought that, some powers were given to me by God and, he was God sent for this country. This is what the context was. Now, this is for the second time that Mohan Bhagwat has made a comment like this. In the last 2 months, if you look at, this is the second comment he is making on this particular God sent remark of Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Now, since the time this remark came out in the public domain, people have said that is this a sign of a growing disenchantment between Prime Minister Narendra Modi and the RSS. So we'll try and discuss this as to what is happening within the RSS camp. Are they really disenchanted with the Prime Minister? What is the kind of equation which everyone sees between BJP and RSS currently? Joining me now is Nilanjan Mukhopadhyay, who is a veteran journalist and author. Thank you so much, Nilanjan, for joining. We have Vivek Deshpande, who's a senior journalist and political commentator. Thank you so much, Vivek. Vivek joins us from Nagpur, and both of them have followed RSS very, very closely. I'll begin with Nilanjan. Then, Nilanjan, what is your view about what Mohan Bhagwat has just said on this remark of the God sent remark of Prime Minister Narendra Modi? Is it very, very clear that he was taking a dig at the Prime Minister, though he didn't take any names?
No, of course it is very clear. Who's the person you can go and ask, 100 people that who's the person who has actually claimed to be God. Everybody's going to 100 out of 100 are going to say, well, Narendra Modi, because nobody else. The point is that this is actually to be seen in the series of jibes which Mohan Bhagwat, has been making after the Lok Sabha elections were declared. In June, right away, he said, that he went and gave the true definition of what he called a true sevak, which is again something, which Mr. Modi has fashioned himself as the Pradhan Sevak. So the Sevak tag, gets defined by Mr. Mohan Bhagwat, and it is very clear that the ideal characteristics which he says that the true Sevak should have, these characters are obviously not there in Mr. Modi, that everyone knows, whoever listens to that. In July, then came up with this matter of of God. There are people. He actually went on to say that these days there are people who actually want to say that they are gods, whereas this is not really the case. And now again, Mr. Modi has a long history of bequeathing dignity to his persona. 10 years ago, more than 10 years ago, in fact, 2013-14, around the time when he had already started his campaign, for the first time he had made a statement saying that God has chosen me for the task which I am doing, which is to lead the BJP as a prime minister candidate of the party. Prior to that, in 2012, this is something I want to share with you as part of my personal experience. When I was interviewing Mr. Modi for my biography, which I wrote on him, so there was one particular incident, a policy decision which he had taken, in terms of separating the grid of the electrical grid from the domestic from the agricultural. So I said that it's a very innovative idea. Where did you actually get such an idea? So he said, I actually have a God's gift to get such bright ideas. So there has been a history of, even last year while piloting the women's reservation bill, he said that God has chosen me to enact this, get this bill enacted. So it appears to be a consistent trait of Mr. Modi, and the fact that it is now being very dismissive, dismissed by Mr. Mohan Bhagwat, and he's making fun of it. It actually just underscores that how bitter the ties have become. Actually,
Right. No, but uh, whenever, like, you've also given us some past examples of, how he has been consistently talking about this quality of his, that, he has been sent on this earth by God to, do certain tasks. Now, how many people would really take Modi seriously? Of course, in BJP, people think that he's God, and he may be what he's true, but in general, what do you think is the impact when he makes a statement like this, whether he made it in 2012 or whether he's been making of late? What do you think is going to be the impact? The bhakts, of course, the devotees of Modi, of course, will take it seriously, but otherwise, in general, how do people take in this kind of a comment by Modi?
The peculiarity of the first past the post system is that even if you do not have the majority opinion with you, you still can get parliamentary majority. The BJP on its own had just barely about 31-32% vote in 2014. It rose to 37% in 2019. Add a couple of more the vote share of the allies. This time it has declined from 37% to something around 35% in a very broad sense of the word, I'm saying. It still gives him a majority along with coalition partners this time to have a cobbled together a parliamentary majority. It's a very slender one. It's a different thing. So as far as his supporters are concerned, they definitely get, they really lap it up. They think that really Mr. Modi is some kind of a superhuman. If not a divine power, he's at least, much better, much more talented, much more skilled than the other politicians who are, his adversaries in the direct political arena. So that is what is there, and it helps Mr. Modi.
It certainly seems to be helping him. But the very fact that now, Vivek, I'll come to you, that, Mohan Bhagwat is constantly making these kind of comments, trying to take a dig, and that's a cryptic jibe again, which he has taken at Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Now, what does it go to show? And you are closer to Nagpur. What do you feel is really happening within the RSS? People really want to know that, is Mohan Bhagwat really frustrated with Prime Minister Narendra Modi? Now, all these 10 years, we've gotten to see so many articles which say that Modi has grown bigger than RSS. Now, is RSS trying to show Modi his place? That, look, this is the kind of mandate you got in 2024. You better start behaving yourself. Is that the message which Mohan Bhagwat is trying to send through comments like these?
Quite unmistakably, that is the message Mr. Bhagwat wants to convey to Mr. Modi. Actually, three remarks within 2 months. Mr. Bhagwat could well have avoided after saying, speaking out for the first time when he took a jibe at Mr. Modi on that Pradhan Sevak thing. Talking about his ahankar and all. He went on to say more at least twice after that. So it means that there's certain amount of urgency within the RSS to put Mr. Modi in his place. Now, what place do they want to put Modi in? Nobody knows. But then this urgency cannot be. It's so obvious that Mr. Bhagwat continues to take jibes at Mr. Modi. So there is some process going on within the RSS or between the RSS and the BJP, whereby possibly Mr. Modi will have to make an exit at some point in future. We don't know which point it would be, whether it would be 1 year down the line, 2 years down the line, but certainly the RSS simply doesn't want Mr. Modi. That is more than obvious, because such remarks have come so often, thrice within last 2 months. So it's very, very obvious that the RSS is trying to put Modi in his place. What kind of action it will take, how will that process be, we don't know. But there's certainly this process going on. And as we know, when RSS says something, it means that. And we have to take it very, very seriously. So that's I think, the import that one gets out of the three consecutive statements that Mr. Bhagwat has made against Mr. Modi. And this is not off the cuff. This is a very, very thought over thing. Mr. Bhagwat has studied the whole thing very well before he has spoken out. And they have made up their mind. They have deliberated on the issue of what to do with Mr. Modi at length, and then they have started talking about Mr. Modi's problems. And coming as it does after the elections, it's very obvious that Mr. Modi has been cut to size, whether by the electorate or by the inaction of the RSS in the election. That is a question that we can leave today. We can discuss it at some other point of time, but it's a fact that RSS had withdrawn itself at many places. So RSS, in any case, wanted to put Modi in his place. They have done it possibly to some extent in the election, but not to the extent that the BJP would lose the power. They did not want the BJP to lose power. They don't. They are not angry with the BJP. That we must try to understand. The first thing is, the RSS doesn't want to
Right.
defeat the BJP. The RSS wants to put Modi in his place. That's the only import that we can draw from what Mr. Bhagwat is saying. So that process started in the 2024 elections, whereby Mr. Modi Modi and his party was restricted to 240 seats. Now, with his wings clipped, Mr. Modi is not in a position to counter the RSS to the extent to which he would have had he got full majority. So Mr. Modi can also be seen. We can also see that he is very nervous. His public appearances are not as confident as they used to be earlier, and he perhaps knows it well that the RSS has seized the moment against him, and maybe he is planning his own exit out of it. Maybe he is planning his own counter strategy. What would that be? How would this war between the RSS and Mr. Modi, not between the RSS and BJP, would unfold in the days to come? That would be a very, very interesting battle to witness, Nilu.
No, but Nilanjan, I'll come to you. I really want to understand from you that RSS's inaction was very evident during the Lok Sabha elections. There were several people who were speaking off the record also that we're not participating in the elections at all, and not one but many RSS cadres had started speaking to the media. But post-election results, and now that Mohan Bhagwat is making his presence felt, he's asserting his authority by making statements like these. So, how are things unfolding within the RSS camp? Now, we have Vidhan Sabha elections coming up in so many states. There is the president of BJP has to be elected or selected or whatever, nominated, whatever manner. But all these things are yet to happen. Now, is RSS trying to phase out Modi? Is RSS really trying to work towards a situation where Modi can be phased out and some other phase from BJP can be propped up? Are these efforts towards this direction?
It is very difficult to say, given the manner in which the RSS and the BJP both function. There is a certain amount of, secrecy surrounding the entire thing, and people don't really, confide to anybody, outside the fraternity. So it is very difficult to actually say that what exactly is going to happen, and also be able to plot a kind of a timeline. But yes, there is something which can be, said with a fair amount of confidence, that I do not see Mr. Modi being the Prime Minister in the month of April 2029. That's the time when he will complete 5 years, for whatever be the reasons. I think, either this government will, have to change its leadership, somebody else would become the leader, or there can be, it can lose the majority, some kind of a new coalition can come up. Various possibilities are there. We also have to, I'm just going back to Mr. Bhagwat's statement. We must remember that it's not just he's talking about Mr. Modi. So the disenchantment is not just with the persona of Mr. Modi, of the fact that he claims to be God. He is also talking about Manipur. Now, in June also, he had spoken about Manipur. From then, it is a good 100 odd days. In barely about a few days, this particular government will be celebrating its 100 days in office with great pomp and show. But this is just serving to underscore that despite it being a priority area, despite the problem in Manipur being flagged by the ideological fountainhead of the Sangh Parivar as back as around the 9th or the 10th of June, this government has still not done, or even if it has done something, it still requires a reminder from Mr. Bhagwat that it is still not very normal. So I think it is not just a question of personally pulling the rug, from below Mr. Modi's feet, but also in terms of highlighting the policy matters. We also have to look that in the last few months, that since this government has been in power, on the issue of NEET, you had the Akhil Bharatiya Vidyarthi Parishad playing a fairly leading role in articulating the grievances of the students. The other body which works on principally on the issue of curriculum and other academic matters, which is run by several intellectuals close to the Sangh Parivar and been part of the RSS, people like Dinanath Batra. They were also involved with that. We have also had the participation of the trade unions which are connected with uh, with the Sangh Parivar, rejecting or rather questioning the unified uh, pension scheme which the government has launched. Very much the trade unions which are part of it, uh, they said that we want actually the restoration of the old pension scheme. The fact that Mr. Modi, for the first time in 10 years, barely about 10 days, had to take a meeting with the trade unions of central government employees unions, shows the kind of pressure that he's on from all quarters. If we actually try to plot, I wrote an article, trying to just frame, Mr. Modi is actually facing, a barrage of attacks from four different quarters. The first quarter is the opposition, which is much more stronger, and look at the articulation level. Suddenly, the power does tremendous things to even the weakest of people. Look at Rahul Gandhi's articulation now. It's a completely a different body language, completely a different tonality of his voice. The opposition is one. There is the RSS and other organizations within the Sangh Parivar. There are from within the BJP. Look at what Adityanath is doing. He was being edged out, so he decided to consolidate himself in a constituency which Mr. Modi cannot really, pander too much now, which is the extreme right. And then finally, Mr. Modi is also facing from his coalition partners. All the issues which have been rolled back, be it the question of lateral entry, be it the question of, even on the matter of the highway, Kanwar Yatra, the signboards which Adityanath very smartly had actually put up. Had the Supreme Court not intervened, the center would have been in real fix, because then it would have had to, Mr. Modi would have had to work against the decision of Adityanath and actually get him to rescind the order. So there
Yeah,
are plenty of problems, and from these four quarters.
you've listed it out very well. But Nilanjan, is RSS also picky and choosy? They try and filter out the issues also. Now, say for example, if it comes to the agenda of Gau Rakshaks, RSS is very silent. When Modi is carrying out a communal agenda, they are silent. Whether it is the murder of this 19-year-old boy in Faridabad recently, or is it that 22-year-old migrant laborer who was killed for consuming beef, then RSS keeps quiet, Modi also keeps quiet. But on Manipur and on several issues which he has, when he talks about Modi's arrogance, then the stories start coming out that look, RSS is not happy with Modi. So what is this, this picking and choosing of issues by the RSS as well? So is RSS also not accused, or will they not be accused of, filtering out agendas, and they are also trying to be, picky and choosy with issues?
Of course, the RSS is a political organization, and it is definitely going to be quite which furthers the Hindutva agenda. The RSS is going to be very happy about the fact that this government has actually withdrawn that old 50-year-old order which prevented the government employees from being members of the RSS. So it has reasons to be happy about that. Okay, these things are happening. Also, the point is that these events which happen in society, these are not government policy. These are something which is happening because of a decade plus of consistent pro-Hindutva extreme politics, which has been, virtually, which has been propped up by the BJP and by the Sangh Parivar. You know, it has gone on in every state, has happened. So So that is the problem, that RSS is going to be quiet about those, and it is going to be saying things when it thinks that Mr. Modi needs to be put in an awkward spot. It is very happy as long as its agenda is being fulfilled, but it is definitely not happy with Mr. Modi personally and some of the things which is not doing while being in government.
Right. So that brings me to the question, Vivek, that how is RSS and Modi, I mean, both of them, how will they balance each other? Will they balance each other comfortably? Are we going to see some hiccups where RSS might start dominating things? Or is it going to be vice versa, like where Modi might dominate things? And all depends, of course, on how the Vidhan Sabha results now will be in the forthcoming months. So how are they going to balance each other? Or are we going to see this as a consistent pattern where RSS will keep showing Modi his position, and Modi again then will try and balance out? So are we going to see this pattern continuing in the next whatever years BJP survives?
Yeah, Nilo, I think this will continue as long as Mr. Modi continues to be the prime minister, or the kind of prime minister that he is. If he's ready to bend his ways, if he's ready to kind of go slow, or maybe
I'm going to interrupt
become
here,
a
Vivek.
become a milder version of himself, then maybe
Right.
the RSS
No,
would
no,
keep
I just wanted to interrupt
uh,
where you said that
tell
Modi,
me.
if he mends his ways, you said if Modi mends his ways, then RSS might be happy. Now, Modi mending his ways, what does it mean? What is RSS trying to tell
I
him?
mean,
That
no, no,
don't be so
no,
upset.
no. Yeah, yeah, Niru, it's not about the RSS agenda. The RSS has absolutely nothing to complain about its agenda, because Mr. Modi has been very successfully implementing almost all the vital elements of the RSS agenda. So RSS has no problem with Mr. Modi as far as the RSS agenda is concerned. What we have to understand is, and as far as I understand the RSS, the problem with Mr. Modi, that RSS sees it as, is that he has become too big a persona, and he is kind of, I mean, he's riding roughshod over the entire Sangh Parivar. He is he is kind of omnipotent person who has taken the entire Sangh Parivar under his wings, under his command. And that is a problem, because in RSS philosophy, an individual cannot be allowed to become greater than the organization. That is exactly what has happened with Mr. Modi. Mr. Modi has become larger than life. He has become bigger than the Sangha Parivar as a whole. And the RSS has been witnessing this phenomenon over the last 10 years, that many of the RSS frontline organizations and many of the RSS leaders and BJP leaders who were earlier or listening to the commands of the RSS have now become kind of slaves of Mr. Modi. And that is a problem that RSS finds very, very difficult to negotiate. So, a person becoming greater than an organization is the main problem that RSS has with Mr. Modi. Otherwise, as far as the RSS agenda is concerned, they have no issues. They are happy. They have reasons to be more than happy. I'm not just happy. So now, what will the RSS do with Mr. Modi? Now we can see they have already taken things in their hands. For example, in Maharashtra, Devendra Fadnavis has had 3 meetings with senior RSS leaders, and RSS is now taking very active interest in Maharashtra elections. They are taking very active interest in Haryana elections, and they have given command of the Jammu Kashmir elections to a person, Mr. Ram Madhav, who had fallen by the wayside over the last few years. So RSS has started taking control of the things, and Mr. Modi has no option but to allow RSS a free hand, which is in complete contrast of what we have seen over the last 10 years. So how is this tug of war going to unfold, and where is it going to end? Whether Mr. Modi is going to finally blink and say that, yes, maybe my time is over and time to go, I don't know. I mean, that is something very, very difficult to gauge. But we have to see this in the context of something else which is happening in Indian politics, and that is the caste angle, the caste question. with Mr. Rahul Gandhi querying the pitch for the caste issue, RSS is in a big quandary now. Uh, whether they uh, whether they take on Mr. Modi, whether they kind of disturb the equilibrium within the Sangha Parivar at this very crucial moment when they have to somehow tackle the caste question as against Hindutva. I mean, that is a question which the RSS must be pondering 100 times over. Whether they will allow the equilibrium within the Sangha Parivar to get disturbed at this point of time, that is also a question which we have to, keep looking at and keep watch on. Because at this moment, I think with the Palakkad meeting of the RSS taking a very, very serious view of the caste problem or the caste issue that has come up as a counter to the Hindutva, we have to keep watching the equation between the RSS and the BJP over the next few months at least. What is RSS going to do with the BJP and with Mr. Modi will depend a lot on how the caste question unfolds. So I think the RSS has a twofold problem. One is how to get rid of Mr. Modi, and then on the other hand, how to tackle the caste question. If both the things have become very, very crucial and critical at this moment, then RSS would be in a very, very difficult position to tackle both the things at the same time. So I think a lot depends on how the national politics unfolds, and in that context, then what does the RSS do with Mr. Modi? Whether it wants to allow Mr. Modi to continue for some time, or get rid of him and put someone else in his place, that is something which is very, very difficult to guess at the moment. But RSS is certainly in a quandary over that, I believe, Neelu.
Right, right. So I'll come to the final question to you, Nilanjan, that in politics, nothing is black and white, everything looks
That's
gray.
right.
This is exactly how RSS and Modi are behaving with each other. But that brings me to two final questions to you. That is it not very evident that RSS is fed up of Modi, or maybe Modi's tall figure or the persona? That is question number one. And two, that will RSS finally now force Modi to step down? Are they creating a situation like this? I mean, is this something which we can read in black and white, if not other things?
The RSS reaction, which is coming out in the form of either the statements of Mr. Mohan Bhagwat or various actions and statements being made by the affiliates of the Sangh Parivar. This is actually cumulative, anger, disagreement with Mr. Modi since 2013-14 onwards. They hadn't been able to say all these things because of the electoral dominance of Mr. Modi. Till the time he could ensure, victory on his own, virtually telling the RSS that I do not require you, to win elections. Till that time, anything that he would do was accepted. One of his biggest problems, personality and what he does, and the way he speaks to people. It is also his unilateral style of functioning, which is that, it is hardly the collegial within the organization. The BJP has been noted for its collegial style of functioning. Within the government, there is no cabinet system of governance anymore. Cabinet ministers have been reduced to just being good tools to implement for a decision which has already been taken by Mr. Modi and a coterie of very close, loyal officers. The Prime Minister's office is the microcosm of the entire government. Even now, several states, most importantly Gujarat, is actually being run by hand-picked bureaucrats who are doing it at the behest of working with very close coordination of the PMO. Hasmukh Adhia, who was a very key member of the Mr. Modi's bureaucratic team here as finance secretary, he is now the principal secretary to the chief minister's chief minister, and this is after Mr. K. Kailash Nathan was the chief secretary for right from 2014 onward till he was eventually appointed the lieutenant governor to Puducherry just last month. So there has been a continuous connect in various states. Everything is being run by a team of core bureaucracy bureaucrats who are actually running this whole thing. So between now and
And RSS doesn't like this only. RSS,
no, it
RSS,
doesn't. RSS does not work this way. It believes in, there is this entire notion of this word called charcha. Now, there is no charcha within the Modi government. It is only Faisla. And you are handed over, that this is the decision, this has to you go and implement it. What will happen? Will it actually continue to create problems, or tell Mr. Modi enough is enough? You look for an opportunity to say that it is time for you to, bid goodbye. Next year, next September, he will turn 75. By the Indian, the way we look at age and years matters. Mr. Modi, in another few, barely a fortnight, not less than a fortnight, 17th of September, he will
yes.
step into his 75th year. That is a very different way. It's not actually in Western argument. It is a thought. It is never said that he stepped into the 75th year. It's a typical Indian concept that he's already stepped into his 75th year. So there are various things. I would say that at the moment the field is wide open. Anything can happen at any point. Very difficult to say. But I am fairly certain that Mr. Modi will not be the Prime Minister till the end of this tenure, that is till April, May 2029.
And of course, one thing is certain, that all is not well within between RSS and BJP, the way Mohan
Definitely not.
Bhagwat is making comments off and on.
Definitely not.
Yes. Thank you so much, Nilanjan, for joining. Vivek, thank you very much for joining. And one appeal to the viewers who are watching this discussion: subscribe to our channel, send us your feedback, and stay tuned to The Federal.